This video is sponsored by Phoenix Fever Cards. If you need supplies of singles or splits for Cardfight Vanguard, especially the ones in the video, do check out Phoenix Fever Cards today, and as a bonus, use the promo code MetaNerd to get an amazing 5% discount. And with that being said, let's get on with the video. Greetings YouTube, welcome back to the MetaNerd channel. I am Marcus, bringing you another video for Cardfight Vanguard DivineZ. In this video, we'll be covering the boss unit for the Dark States Quick Start deck, which is the Manticore / Chimera thing. It's actually a demon instead of Chimera or a Manticore. I'm not complaining, it still looks really good. Now in this video, we'll be covering like a little bit different than the Dragon Empire one, because all 6 of the DivineZ's Quick Start decks do have 3 cards that each and every Quick Start deck have. All of them have the same skill, so we're not gonna cover those 3 cards just to save a little bit of time. But in place of those 3 cards, we're gonna talk about some of the existing cards within the nation itself that synergizes with the boss unit. Without further ado, let's take a look at what Oselargest, if I don't pronounce the name wrong, brings to the table. First and foremost is of course the Rideline featuring Balancer. Although when this unit is brought upon by Steam Trimmer Nebuchador, so charge 2, choose one of your Vanguard and it gets 5k power until the end of turn. Second skill, continues Regular Circle during your turn. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Oselargest in its card name, this unit gets 5k power. So upon riding onto the grade 2, you get 2 soul, and unfortunately the soul charge is kind of random. You can't really like choose what cards go into the soul, so this 2 soul charge might backfire a little bit. But the more important thing about this soul charge 2 is that the attackers that you will want to have on your grade 3 turn into the soul, which you will then be superior call by using the grade 3 boss unit skill. But more importantly, it's just for you to activate the grade 2 Rideline skill, as well as having soul resources to even work with. The 5k power bonus is a very slight bonus. The 5k power bonus is okay. It basically just forces the opponent to no guard the center column. With the Vanguard hitting for 15k, it's most likely your opponent doesn't want to guard, because even if they throw down a 15k shield, it's still a 1 to pass. The whole point of forcing the opponent to not guard the center column is super nice to push for damage. It's just a really good early game aggression, I would say. Once again, the second skill is basically the same for all of the quick start decks. All of the grade 1 Rideline do have the same skill, with them being a 13k booster or attacker is very nice. But of course, nothing really much to talk about here because they are all the same, and 13k grade 1 is okay. It's not that bad. It's just very generic. For the grade 2, we have Steam Trimmer Nebuchador. Although when this unit is brought upon by a grade 3 card with Oselargest in its card name, if your soul have 4 or more cards, draw a card. Second skill, continuous Garden Circle. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Oselargest in its card name, this unit gets shield 10k. It's a very simple draw 1 upon riding your grade 3 unit on top of this. You will definitely have, as long as you have 4 or more soul, which you will have by using the grade 1 Rideline skill, because the grade 1 Rideline does soul charges 2. At the start of your grade 3 turn, you will most likely have 5 soul, because 0, 1, 2 is 3 souls, and with the 2 soul charge from the grade 1, yeah, it's gonna be 5 soul. It's basically guaranteed that you will be able to draw unless you keep soul blasting your soul away for some other skills. Just keep in mind of your soul count by the time you ride into the grade 3. Has a 15k shield is very nice for defensive play. I mean, all of the grade 2 inside the quick start deck do have the same 10k shield bonus as long as you are at the grade 3 boss unit, so not bad. But in terms of Dark States, it's actually very nice because of Oselargest's skill. Oselargest basically superior calls something from the soul when he's attacking, so seeing as this unit is in the soul, this card does synergize a little bit better than the other quick start decks because of Oselargest still superior calling from the soul, which this unit will be in the soul when you naturally ride into Oselargest. So this card not only can act as an attacker thanks to Oselargest's skill, he is also a defensive unit if of course you do decide to even superior call this unit by using Oselargest's skill. It's a very nice synergy there. Other than that, there's really nothing much to talk about. It's largely the same for all 6 of the quick start deck, with a little bit of difference in terms of how they actually function. Next of course is the boss unit, Cruel Beast Demonic Lord Oselargest. Active Vanguard Circle once per turn. Cost Counterblast 1. Search your deck for up to 1 card with the same card name as this unit, reveal it and put it into a hand, shuffle the deck, and this unit gets 10k power until the end of turn. Second skill, Auto Vanguard Circle. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, card, costs Energy Blast 4, choose a grade 3 or less card from your soul, call it to Rearguard Circle, and it gets 10k power until the end of turn. So the first skill is the same Personal Right Searcher for all of the quick start deck. It basically just guarantees a Personal Right for the next turn, as well as providing a 10k power bonus, which is super nice. Now, the biggest difference between this Oselargest and Full-pigment Dragon is that Full-pigment Dragon's Rideline do actually have energy charge skill, whereas Oselargest doesn't have that. So it is basically limited to how much energy that you will be gaining naturally. So it is very imperative that you don't use your energy resources recklessly. Otherwise, it's just gonna backfire really hard for you. Now, after me reading the second skill of Oselargest, this deck is basically a 4 attack deck which your superior calls from the soul. Since Oselargest here is superior calling something from the soul, and of course that unit will be gaining a 10k power bonus, you do actually have a lot of options in terms of offense, which we'll talk about later in the video. Dark States do have a lot of options in terms of how they want to attack into the opponent, as well as recycling some of the resources that, you know, they might lose down the line. And with the utility to superior call anything from the soul, it's actually super nice. A very straightforward Dark State boss unit, which I think for veteran players, it's okay. It's not like this unit is the most broken one out of all of them. This is a quick start boss unit, but it's not bad either. Very straightforward unit. And if you are interested in playing Dark States, this quick start deck is a very nice starting point, as well as a teaching deck for you to learn more about the game, as well as how to manage your resources. Dark States is basically that. For the support cards that we will be getting in the first booster set, first off, we have Full-pigment Dragon. Auto Rearguard Circle. When this unit attack, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Oselargest in its card name, cast Counterblast 1 and put another front row Rearguard into soul and draw a card. After we know about Oselargest skill, this card actually does make sense quite a bit, because Oselargest is superior calling another Rearguard when he attacks. That superior call Rearguards can be called over on top of a Rearguard Circle that has a Rearguard, which means that whatever Rearguard that was attacked before will be retired into the drop zone. Thanks to this card here, this card is able to convert a front row Rearguard that has attacked or has rested to put that card into the soul to draw a card is actually very nice. And because of how Oselargest attacks, you are able to superior call that same unit out from the soul, assuming that the Rearguard that you attack first have a on attack skill. You are able to just reactivate that skill once you superior call the same card out from the soul by using Oselargest skill. It's actually a very nice interaction here. And I think you don't have to worry about Counterblast, because the whole deck doesn't really use a lot of Counterblast. Only Oselargest's first skill is using Counterblast, and that skill is kind of optional if you run out of Oselargest copies in the deck. Very nice. The one thing that this card doesn't have is the pushing power. This card doesn't really get any power, so it basically relies on Oselargest's Personal Right, as well as if you do decided to superior call this unit with Oselargest to even gain power. Once we get into the existing support that can be played inside this deck, I think you will understand why this card doesn't really have enough pushing power, because the existing cards that Dark States has at the moment does gain tremendous amount of power. Of course, there are going to be some restrictions in place in order to even get those powers, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. My main point here is that this card doesn't really gain power by itself. It needs a little bit more help from other units to even push harder. But other than that, this unit is very nice, and it's one of the stapler cards for Oselargest. So for the existing cards within Dark States that can be considered running inside this deck, we have a total of 4 units. There might be other support that is not being covered in this video because the card pool just go long, and most of the Dark States card is very restrictive into certain requirements as well as boss unit. I mean, it makes sense. The first one, of course, is going to be this auto card that actually features a Chimera, which is quite fitting in my opinion. This normal auto card basically soul charges 1, and you are able to superior call any grade 3 and below unit from the soul, and that unit will gain a 5k power. This card is actually super nice in terms of, you know, superior call something from the soul. I mean, you could superior call the grade 2 Rideline, which will then gives you a 15k interceptor. It's just very nice. And since this card does not really cost a counterblast or anything in particular, you just need to soul charge and boom, you get a rearguard from a soul, which is super nice in my opinion. While yes, it is an older card, but it is what it is. The next one, of course, is Lamenia. I mean, with the whole deck structure changes to 50 cards in the main deck, I think Lamenia is going to be a stapler card for any deck that we have under the sun, with a few exceptions. For Lamenia, it's actually the same as the grade 3 order. You are able to call Lamenia out and you just counterblast 1 to superior call something from the soul, and then you get to soul charge 1. It's basically the same thing as the order, but of course you will need need to personal right to even use Laminia's skill. Since Oselargest basically guarantees you to get another copy of himself by spending an extra 1 counterblast, your personal right is more or less guaranteed, which will then enables Laminia to superior call something from the soul. It's just very, very good. Other than that, the first skill to soul blast 1, put her to the bottom and draw 1. The cycle effect of Laminia is actually doable inside this deck. Remember that we will be getting 5 soul on turn 3. Yeah, you can just use 1 soul to get an extra draw and then recycle Laminia back to the bottom of the deck. Very, very nice synergy there, but still, it's basically up to you if you want to play both Laminia as well as the Great Tree Order in the same deck. But these two cards I think are really good to help out the deck as an overall. Next card that we have is going to be Servant Falracia. This card is actually super insane in this deck. Not particularly for the second skill, but the first skill to get more power depends on what soul you put from the drop into the soul. This card is going to be the main attacker for the whole deck, as well as you are able to kind of loop herself by putting another copy of herself from the drop into the soul. You're gonna guarantee like at least 1 Servant Falracia in the soul to then be superior call by Oselargest skill. It's actually super disgusting as to how good this card is inside this deck. The last card that we have is going to be Oriens. Oriens here is also like one of those cards that superior calls for something from the deck, if of course you play an order card, hence why there's a grade 3 order in this list. If you are playing that grade 3 order, you could consider running Oriens. She's just gonna help you fetch out more cards, and not only are you able to fetch out more targets to build the board, you are able to convert some of your excessive soul that you have to draw 1. She's able to soul blast 3 on attacking a grade 3 unit to get a draw, as well as giving herself the 5k. I think is very, very nice, and I think can be considered running inside this deck even without the first skill. The first skill is a very nice bonus, but you will need to play an order card to even use that skill. So far, I think these 4 cards are really, really good inside Oselargest. There are going to be other better existing cards that is super good, but of course I can't really cover them, otherwise we will be here forever and ever. And that is all for this video. Do let me know down in the comment section of what do you think of the whole Oselargest. This is basically Pale Moon playstyle, which I am not complaining because the whole deck doesn't really look Pale Moony except for a few units. Do like and subscribe if you like this video, and of course during the bell notification icon so that you don't miss a video I upload. With that being said, I'll see you all on the field.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go.